What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is health and fitness and how it's a concept that seems to be living off extremes when in reality the truth is right in the middle. But what's so special about getting in shape? Why am I making such a big fuss out of it? And what if I told you that anyone could and should do it? And what if I told you that it's actually way easier than you think? Now, if it sounds too good to be true, please stick around for the full ride because I promise you it's not just empty talk. Now, the main issue here, I think, is breaking through the many stereotypes revolving around health and fitness. First of all, let me state the obvious by saying that being healthy doesn't mean being a Victoria's Secret model, nor it means looking like you're about to step on the Olympia stage. There's a notion in between, and that's where most people kind of operate. Now, the fact is that these individuals, right, the top percentage, like top 1% of the population, the people that are in extremely great shape, they look like Greek gods. I understand that they're meant to be inspirational for all of us because they give us an ideal to look towards, but at the same time it's important to recognize the potential danger at these heights, because especially for the younger and more impressionable people who spend all that time online, seeing these kind of people on a regular basis might kind of like force them to conflate a very niche part of the population with what the general population can realistically look like. Honestly, with that being said, refusing to get in shape because of some made-up social rules or because you keep finding excuses to hide your laziness is just as stupid. And this is shown by how quickly the body positivity movement crumbled once Ozempic was readily available. Now, we all saw these prominent figures. They were preaching about, you can be healthy at any size. I don't know, like being in shape is part of conservative values and all the craziest ideas. But then the moment the miracle drug was available and everyone started using it, you saw all these actresses and influencers and singers, they literally dropped half of their body weight. And then they still started preaching, they still kept preaching about the body positivity movement because obviously they didn't want to lose the support of their fans. But at the same time, their fans were like, wait a second, you told me that being like that was okay, but now you shaved, all this weight. Why? Like they naturally felt betrayed. And the fact is that even suggesting that being that big, like being that fat, is dangerous to their existence made you a raging fat phobic, which is absolutely insane. So it's both sad and worrying to see how far some people can take an ideology. And the fact is that people will make fun of them, they're just making things worse. Because the fact is that when you support an ideology and someone attacks it, you normally don't concede even an ounce of truth because it triggers in you like a defense mechanism where you end up being willing like to literally die on the hill rather than considering that you're supporting an ideology that is false and is potentially dangerous for you. So it's not just honestly actresses on Ozempic, it's not just fat people posting their diet on TikTok. It's also about the fitness space, and it's a space that hides a lot of excesses. Sometimes you might see a person that looks like they're in shape, they're fairly muscular, they have abs, they're also they do perform very well at the gym. But at the same time, you don't know like how many substances they're actually abusing, like exogenous steroids, like all the PEDs banned in the world, all sorts of, I don't know, like banned supplements and whatever. And their blood work comes like soup and they end up dying in their 30s out of, for a heart attack because their internal organs are twice the size. So also, like, as being someone in the fitness space, I'm not blind to also the excess that my industry creates. All this yapping is to make honestly a very obvious point, which is that being healthy is range. It's not a number on a scale, it's not like the result of a report, it's just basically how you feel and being able to control the excesses. So being able to control your portions, being able to dedicate a little bit of time of your week to exercising, and you don't have to go crazy about it. But honestly, like, you don't even have to think that you need to be the next David Goggins, and anything less than that just makes you not worthy. So that's why, like, when you finally decide to get in shape, you should never do it because you want to achieve someone else's physique or comparing yourself to someone else's journey. You need to embark on your own personal journey, and you need to focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And I know that a lot of people want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, but sorry to break your bubble, but only Brad Pitt in Fight Club can look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. So, take that out of your mind, because most likely it ain't happening. Now, the fact is that, why is this important? Like, I think it's because the key to be successful in your journey is to shift your mindset, and rather than considering your diet, your training program, your recovery as a tool to achieve a goal, like, rather than seeing it as a pit stop, you need to see it as a lifelong journey. Like, it's something that you need to do every day of your life, because it's part of your routine. Like, you take a shower, like you eat, like you go to the toilet. That's part of your routine. And believe me, like, maybe not now, not in 1 year, but in 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to understand how important this consistency has been. And that's where most people fail. It's the consistency. They think that they need to make so many sacrifices in order to achieve their physique, that they already start with the failing mindset, where in the end, like, you can have actually a very comfortable and very flexible lifestyle if you only learn few key things about how food works, how exercise works, and you actually decided to spend a bit less time on your phone and a little bit less time on Netflix, and just a couple of hours, like literally 2-3 hours in the gym every week, do a little bit of weightlifting with a little bit of cardio, and then eat some sort of lean protein and healthy fats during the day, some carbohydrates for energy, and you're good to go. Like, you don't need to do anything else. And then obviously, like, you tweak it based on how specific your goals are. But majority of the population, they just want to be healthy. They just want to be in a decent shape. And literally, that is so easy. It is incredible how many people fail at this. Now, the problem with some of the examples that I mentioned before, with with the Ozempic revolution, and then more recently we've had clavicular with the lux maxing movement, is that we went from taking care of our physical appearance just as a tool in our arsenal, rather than the whole arsenal. And the fact is that if you're just considering a tool, it's something that can serve you very well, because it makes you more presentable, it makes you look more put together. People normally have a better first impression of you, because your hair is combed and you dress nicely, and you can see that under the clothes your feet. So it's all connected. But thinking of that as the only thing that gets you the respect of people is generally insane. And the problem is that when we start doing things for vanity, where vanity is our ultimate goal, we tend to justify even the most insane actions. Like, just think about clavicular. Like, this guy, like, literally injected Botox in her not even legal girlfriend forehead because of some imaginary wrinkles that she has. He literally smashed his own jaw with a hammer to make him more masculine, because apparently it regrows stronger, and you're gonna end up looking like handsome Squidward. He took methamphetamine because he wanted to get a whole of that chick's look. Like, this is just wild to me. And what is even more worrying is how many young people, they hop on this train and they follow the example of a random guy on the internet without even worrying about, is the advice this guy's giving actually genuine, or this is a complete charlatan? Well, we all know the answer to that now. Honestly, it makes you miss like a more innocent time where the only viral things on the internet were home cooks and TikTok dances. We didn't know how good we had it back then. Now, let me clarify that listing all these problems, while important and surely helpful, it's nothing if we also don't think of solutions, because otherwise we end up going in circles forever while we end up solving nothing. So I think, I don't know, like rebelling against social media, try to revert to a time before social media, abandoning them completely. I don't think it's the answer. I don't think it's also feasible, because it is such a integral part of our lives that we don't even realize it. Like, even the most innocent ones like WhatsApp or YouTube, like, could you imagine like living your life without them? But yeah, the fact is that we need to first have a strong mind. We need to acknowledge that we have a problem, and that's the first step. And then we have to start working towards fixing the problem by reducing our screen time, by also accepting that what we see online is not a real reflection of reality, but it's just what that person wanted to show online, and there's a big difference behind it. So the fact is that, in a way, social media, like being so immersed in them, it is what we want, because no one is forcing us to use them. And I have to be honest, the short period that I was off social media was probably the best period of my life. But then in another way, like, we are so immersed into them 24/7, from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, in our house, outside our house, at the gym, like everywhere, then we don't even realize we have a problem. And it's not just young people here, even old people now, like, they're so addicted to their phone. They spend hours and hours on Facebook, and I think they're the only people left on Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, and playing those stupid games on their phone for hours. And I think the best way to move forward is, again, accepting we have a problem, but also to tie back to the health and fitness aspects of it all, realizing that what we see online is fake and it just represents a tiny bit of the population. We need to learn how to make peace with ourselves. If we work hard in our lives, we have a healthy lifestyle, we do our best to stay in shape. Sure, we might not look, like I don't know, like we're ripped, like we're jacked, and we have a six pack. We might not look like a Greek god, and that's completely normal, because if we start comparing yourself to the people you see online, it's not just a losing game, but it's also a waste of time, because those people, the fact is that the reason why it's a losing game is that, first of all, they have the most insane genetics in the world. Probably they are injecting themselves with a whole pharmacy to look like that. And also another aspect that not many people consider is that even if you take a whole pharmacy, if your body genetically doesn't respond well to steroids, you're still gonna look like crap. Like, you're gonna take all the side effects to the face. Now, I want to be honest with you guys, and because I'd be lying to you if I said that using steroids never crossed my mind. But it's that I've been lifting and dieting for so many years, And sometimes I still look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, bro, do you even lift? Like, what is that? Why do you have a belly? Why your arms are still twigs? I have those moments all the time. And the fact is that, first of all, like the weak part of me knows that if I took even the tiniest amount of steroids, I would take all the side effects directly to my face. You'll see me covered in pimples, aging like 20 years in 2 hours, losing all my hair, and I don't know, like, yeah, maybe I'll gain some muscle, sure, I'll look jacked, whatever, and even have a six pack, but I'll look, I don't know, like I've aged far too fast, and I wouldn't look healthy, I wouldn't look good. And that just convinced me even more that the journey that I started is the right one for me. The fact is that I don't just see it now, because obviously now, like, you're never gonna see the finished product, but you're only gonna see a small chunk now. But if you project it in the future, like in 10, 20, 30 years, I'm gonna look back, I'm gonna be in my 60s, my 70s, whatever, how long am I gonna live? And I'm gonna be like, man, I'm so glad I did it, and I've started it whenever. Like, you can start at any age, and I'm so glad I did it the right way, because now my joints are healthy. I feel good. I feel energetic. I can spend quality time with my loved ones. I feel great in my own skin. Like, all these things, like, honestly, there's no price for it. So if you think of, like, starting a journey, but you want to cut corners, you want to be one of those TikTok influencers that post their diet to stay obese, or you want to take Ozempic, or you want to take methamphetamine so your face looks gaunt. Like, just think about it, not this current day, but project yourself in the future and think if the consequences are worth what you're doing. I think you're gonna be thankful every day that you made the right choice. So, guys, like, that's it for today. I wanted to make this video for so long. I think it's a very important topic, and as you can see, like, I also shared some of my experiences, some of my thoughts, so it's also a video that it's very close to my heart. I hope that it helps you deciding to start a health and fitness journey. You can be any gender, any age, it doesn't matter, as long as you start somewhere. And you're gonna see, even in few months, like, you're gonna make so many progress that you're never gonna look back. So that's it for today. If you stayed for the full ride, thank you, I really appreciate it. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.